The story begins early in the morning at 6 o'clock when the police forcefully enter Eddie Miller's home. Eddie panics and insists there must be a mistake. However, the officers present a search warrant and confirm they are at the right house. They ask about his son, Jamie. Officer Luke proceeds into Jamie's room and informs him that he is being arrested on suspicion of murder. Jamie is asked to surrender any sharp objects or weapons. Jamie gets up from the bed, his clothes wet. Luke offers to call Eddie, who helps Jamie change. Meanwhile, the police search the house, looking for evidence. Officer Misha informs the family about Jamie's arrest. Jamie, sitting in the police car, keeps calling for his father. At the station, the officers inform the sergeant that Jamie is only 13 and has been arrested for murder. The sergeant questions Jamie about his rights and asks if he has a lawyer or needs one. Jamie calls for his father to help. The sergeant explains that Jamie is being held under a detention order and will be interrogated. Jamie is detained, and officers tell Eddie that Jamie wants him to act as his supporting adult during interrogation. A doctor later visits Jamie to assess his mental state. She asks if Jamie knows what arrest means. Jamie answers that they believe he committed a murder. When asked why a lawyer is important, he responds that he doesn't want to give the wrong answers under pressure. The doctor concludes that Jamie is mentally stable. After she leaves, Jamie tells Eddie that he didn't do anything and asks for his trust. Eddie expresses his belief in Jamie. Later, a lawyer meets the family, then discusses Jamie's case with the officers. He inquires about Jamie's treatment in custody. Jamie is photographed, medically examined, and his DNA, fingerprints, and blood samples are collected. When officers request Jamie's phone password, the lawyer refuses. Jamie is then told to undress for a full body check. Eddie becomes furious, but the lawyer explains that it's standard procedure. Jamie's body is checked for injuries in front of his father, leaving Eddie heartbroken. The officers take Jamie's clothes and provide new ones. The lawyer advises Jamie to mostly respond with no comment during interrogation unless the questions are simple. The interrogation begins. Jamie is asked where he was the previous night and what he was doing. He replies with no comment. The officers mention his academic progress is good but note recent behavioral issues. Jamie gives no explanation. When asked about friends, he refuses to answer. The officers show him adult images from his Instagram, which have received many likes. Jamie admits feeling attraction to such women but denies wanting a girlfriend like them, saying they are older. Jamie is then shown photos of his actual friends from Instagram. This time, he provides their names and says they spend time playing games and hanging out. The officers ask if he was with them last night. Jamie again says, no comment. They explain that Jamie's clothes weren't found at the crime scene, but his expensive shoes were, still bearing bloodstains. Jamie had burned his clothes but not his shoes due to emotional attachment. These shoes become key evidence. The officers ask if Jamie knows a girl named Katie. Jamie confirms and accidentally reveals knowledge of the murder. This comment raises suspicions further. Eddie is questioned about his whereabouts and confirms he was on night duty. Jamie is asked directly if he killed Katie. He denies it and says someone else did. Officers explain that Katie was stabbed 7 times. Jamie is shown CCTV images clearly capturing him following the girl. He initially denies it's him, but when shown the full footage, it becomes clear. Jamie is seen being pushed by Katie, getting angry and then stabbing her repeatedly. Jamie breaks down in tears. Eddie is stunned to realize his son may have committed such a horrific act. Officer Luke tells Jamie that all evidence points to him and asks if he wants to apologize to Katie's mother. Jamie stays silent. The interrogation ends, leaving only Jamie and Eddie in the room. Jamie insists on his innocence, but Eddie, heartbroken, hugs his son. Officer Leo visits Jamie's school for further investigation. Before entering, he messages his own son, who also studies there. He starts by questioning Katie's friend, who behaves rudely and refuses to cooperate. During assembly, one of Katie's friends attacks Jamie's friend, accusing him of being responsible for Katie's death. Teacher breaks up the fight. Later, that same boy is mocked by classmates for getting beaten by a girl. Luke notices the toxic school environment. He begins questioning that boy, Ryan. Ryan says Jamie behaved normally the previous day. When asked about the murder weapon, Ryan becomes nervous and tries to leave. Luke and Misha suspect he's hiding something. Later, Luke's son Adam meets him and offers help. Adam shows Luke Jamie's Instagram, where Katie is seen bullying Jamie and calling him an incel. Katie appears to be provoking Jamie, challenging him and claiming he will never have a relationship or get married. Others join in, liking her comments, effectively participating in group bullying. Adam urges Luke to consider this perspective. Luke asks Adam if he too is bullied, but Adam says no. Luke and the team realize their assumptions were wrong. Katie, not Jamie, was the aggressor. Principal hears this and expresses regret. However, the source of the weapon and Jamie's exact motive remain unknown. Luke suspects Ryan is hiding the truth and rushes to his classroom. Ryan tries to escape but is caught. Luke questions Ryan about Katie calling Jamie names. Ryan deflects, but Luke insists. Under pressure, Ryan admits the weapon belonged to him. The officers arrest Ryan to continue the investigation at the station, suspecting a possible collaboration. Meanwhile, Eddie, overwhelmed with guilt, visits the crime scene and lays a bouquet for Katie, praying for her soul. A psychiatrist arrives to assess Jamie's mental health. She gives him a sandwich and casually talks. Jamie eventually asks her to stop avoiding serious topics. He requests to see her notes, but she refuses, saying they're only for the judge. Jamie becomes angry and claims the process feels like torture. He says the facility is filled with screams and feels unsafe. In frustration, he knocks over a cup. A monitoring officer visits the facility and the psychiatrist lies, saying all is fine. She reviews Jamie's outburst footage to analyze his body language. She returns, clarifies her role, and resumes questioning. Jamie complains about being called ugly and unloved. He accuses her of failing to comfort him and compares her to a previous psychiatrist. She explains that the court needs 2 evaluations. Jamie becomes aggressive again. A guard intervenes. Jamie lashes out verbally, questioning the psychiatrist's status. She grows afraid of him. Once calm, Jamie confirms previous bullying incidents at school. She asks about Instagram posts and whether he wanted attention. Jamie denies it. She presents comments from Katie and others that humiliate him. Jamie admits the bullying was targeted and based on his looks. When asked about his response, Jamie refuses to confess and suggests the murder video could be fake. He claims he didn't kill Katie, though he had the chance. He says he walked away that night. The psychiatrist advises him to continue mental health support and prepares to leave. Jamie asks for her opinion of him and begs her not to share what he said. He grows aggressive again and security escorts him out. As he leaves, he shouts that his father should be told he's doing fine. The psychiatrist reflects on how strange Jamie is and notices he shows no remorse. 13 months pass. Jamie's family still struggles emotionally. It's Eddie's birthday, but he finds no joy. He receives birthday cards, including one from his father and another from Jamie, featuring a hand-drawn sketch. Eddie's daughter reports that someone wrote an offensive word on their car. Eddie tries to clean it but learns the paint is permanent. He takes his wife and daughter with him to the car center, fearing for their safety at home. He accuses neighbors of the vandalism, but no one confesses. 2 boys ride by and mock him. Eddie, furious, realizes they are responsible. He throws paint over the car and confronts them, demanding an explanation. One boy apologizes and says it was a joke. Eddie angrily tells him that their family is not a joke. He warns the boy not to laugh and throws his bicycle at him as he runs away. Security guards complain about the mess. Eddie argues, offers money, and threatens them too. His mental state is visibly affected. While driving, the family receives a call from the police station. Jamie wishes Eddie a happy birthday and thanks him for the card. Jamie says things are manageable and hints that he plans to confess. The family sits in silence. Jamie apologizes and says he will accept responsibility. His mother changes the subject and asks about his health. Jamie says he thought he was only speaking with his father but talks briefly to his mother and sister before hanging up. The mood turns heavy. Eddie's wife consoles him, saying Jamie's confession may help them all move forward. At least their son is alive. Katie's mother will never see her daughter again. They wonder if they failed in raising Jamie. Later, Eddie visits Jamie's room and sees it carefully decorated. Realizing Jamie may never return to use it, Eddie breaks down in tears and this mini-series ends.